This program is made possible by annual financial support from viewers like you.
There's a great deal of stigma in regards to procrastination nowadays. We live in a culture where every aspect of one's life is seen as best utilized when monetized. The hustle and bustle of the modern world, emphasis on hustle, is very punishing to those that are deemed lazy or prone to procrastination. This has obviously led to negative experiences in terms of cognition and, well, experience. That's not exactly revolutionary to point out. Yet the perspective of such things being positive in nature is quite the opposite. To preface, I don't love evolutionary psychology. Evolutionary psychology is the practice of using potential pressures within the natural world to explain mentalistic structures and behaviors of the, most often human, mind. This is easy to pick up, but difficult to examine critically. Evolutionary psych can be used to make bold claims that aren't subject to the rigorous experimental settings involved in other forms of psychology. For example, one can say, men have examples of alphas in social groups due to the evolutionary pressure to have as many females as possible, with more dominant and powerful men being most likely to reproduce. This is something you'll see a lot of charlatans say while trying to sell you on something, when in reality, there is no evidence of humans exhibiting alpha males. Pre-societal humans more often had many males to one female. Competition between males and humans is sexual in nature rather than physical, and if there were often human leaders that could be considered alphas before the agricultural revolution, they were most likely females. To those who disagree with those basic points, be careful. Gorillas exhibit male alphas with one male to many females, and since their competition is physical rather than sexual, male gorillas have tiny genitals. So reinforce such a social structure at risk of your offspring having tiny penises over millennia. So, while evolutionary psychology is easy to wrap one's head around, it's easy to wrap around just about any ideology, true or otherwise. That being said, why not use such effects for good? I was watching Last Meals by Mythical Kitchen, particularly the episode with Elijah Wood in. Very soon in the interview, Wood presents his procrastination as typical behavior within his self. I began thinking. Recently, I've been exploring the idea that many modern-day mental health-related disabilities aren't disabilities at all, so much as social deficiencies. After all, it wasn't long ago that homosexuality was considered a mental illness. So, for example, rather than ADHD being an illness that makes it hard to do things you must do, the problem may in fact be that there are things you are forced to do that are without your natural behaviors. This in combination with Mr. Frodo got me thinking. Perhaps I can spin procrastination from a negative to a positive, and of course my mind went to the easiest way to spin a psychological structure: evolutionary psychology. So let's look at some evolutionary pressures that may, theoretically, have existed in favor of procrastination being selected for. Say, for example, you need to hunt soon to feed your family group. A hunt is likely to get you killed. Boars, bears, and beasts of all kind are well equipped to dismantle the life-giving organs of the human body. Now, if you could do it today, or tomorrow, which is more beneficial? Unless someone in your family group is actively starving, waiting until tomorrow is likely to increase your chances of survival. One more day of preparation, one more day to ensure physical fitness, one more day to ensure mental fortitude. A slew of potential pressures that make one more likely to survive and reproduce by waiting to the last moment to do what must be done. On that note, reproduction I mean, what do men and women do when one of them is off to war? The cultural mimetic of the soldier having intercourse the day before shipping out surely didn't begin with the world wars. I'd argue that, in prehistoric family groups, one would be likely to have intercourse the night before a dangerous hunt, and if you wait until the last moment to go, you're far more likely to reproduce before you do. That is direct evolutionary pressure that selects for procrastination, about as related to reproduction of the fittest as one can get. So rather than viewing procrastination as some form of laziness, a failing of the times, I think better to consider it as a vestigial behavior. A natural behavior that has been selected for millennia, and only in the last few thousand years has it become problematic, with the rise in societally imparted punishments for delaying tasks. It's not your fault. It's not bad. It's not wrong. It's not sickness, and it's certainly not evil. Thank you for watching, dreamer. I hope that your next dream is as intriguing as the last.